Okay, so like a rate compares two things, but a rate is actually different units. It's different things. So in a ratio, we'd have so many, 2 cups of rice to 3 cups of water. They're both cups. This, we might have a rate of payment, so many dollars per hour. Might have a rate that we read, so many pages per day. We might have a rate of speed. We go this many kilometers per or in an hour. So that's how a rate is different. So, and we gotta have units. So a ratio, we didn't put units. It would be in a ratio of 2 to 3, knowing that those are cups. But for this one, we got to say what they are. The two different units are separated by this. Der slash. And did we pronounce der slash as per? And this shouldn't be unusual, because if you're going somewhere and you're obeying the speed limit, which I highly recommend, in New Zealand I had a lot of speed limits that were 50. And it says 50, which means 50 kilometers. That's my first unit. Per, there's my slash, hour. So that means you're going at a rate of speed. So every hour, if you have a constant rate of speed, you'll go 50 kilometers. If the speed changes to 90, I don't see a lot of 90s around here, but we saw 90s. If my rate of speed was 90 kilometers per hour, and I maintain that speed over the course of an hour, I'd go 90 kilometers. That's how it works. So, for example, if I'm going 20 kilometers per hour, 20 kilometers for each hour. So that per means for each. Slash means for each. Again, there's the word convention. We write rates in their simplest form. So, and we only have the rate for only one unit of the second quantity. So it's 20 kilometers per 1 hour. So that second unit is going to be 1. So if we have spent $45 in 3 hours, we can simplify that by making the 3 into a 1. Divide hours 3 by 3 to get 1, so we do the same on the other side. So the simplified rate looks like this. $15 in 1 hour is $15, so I've got the dollar sign on there, per hour. $15 slash hour. We can find out the average rate. So if you're spending $45 in 3 hours, you might spend $20 in the first hour, $5 in the next, it doesn't matter. That's just, we found an average of that. Doesn't mean you spend $15 exactly in each hour. But we can find that average rate by dividing the total change in one quantity by the total change in the second. So if I read a 400-page book in 4 days, I'm going to read 100 pages per day on average. So I can read the book in 4 days. Maybe I have more time one day and I read 110 pages. Maybe I have less time the next day and I read 90 pages. But the average rate is 100 pages per day, which is expressed as 100 pages slash day. So if you see a slash, we're dealing with a rate. And again, a rate is different units, which is why we need to put the units on there. Okay, we're going to simplify these rates. 12 students for 2 teachers. So we can reduce that because we've got to get the teachers to 1 teacher. So that second unit has to be teacher. Divide 2 by 2, divide 12 by 2, and that gives me 6 students. How sloppy is that? For 1 teacher, or 6 students per teacher. That's a CH, teacher. Okay? Similarly, if I'm paying, I'm going and I'm buying up large, we're having a party, and I go to the butcher and I pay $28, which is cheap. I don't know what I'd be getting for $28 for 4 kilograms. So what rate am I paying per kilogram? I want to get that down to 1 kilogram, so I divide 4 by 4. Well, let's try the same. If I divide 28 by 4, I've got $7 for 1 kilogram, or $7 slash kilogram. And that's definitely something you're going to need to know in life. You go to the supermarket and you're there to buy something that you really like. Let's call it ice cream. And you're comparing them. This one's on sale. That one is just a little bit more expensive. But you look and see what you're getting, how much you're paying per amount, whether it's kilograms or grams. You need to work that out. Now this one, we've got to figure this out. So Tommy Boy was 120 centimeters when he was 10 years old. And then he was 185 centimeters when he was 20 years old. So we want to find the average rate of growth. So over that amount of time, between 10 and 20 years, he would have grown a certain amount. So how many years are we talking about? Over the course of, what's the difference between 10 and 20? 10 years, or in 10 years. So to find out how much he's grown, we'll find the difference between 185 and 120, which I'm hoping is 65. So he has grown 65 centimeters over 10 years. I probably should put the term, rather than over, I should put 65 centimeters in 10 years. Now, what do we want to do? Centimeters, years, which of those do we want to bring to 1? Always the second one. So I want years not to be 10, but 1. So you're right to say divide. 10 divided by 10 gives me 1. 65 divided by 10 gives me 6.5 centimeters in 1 year. So on average, he has grown 6.5 centimeters per year. There you go.